Hello, welcome to Dibs on Blue. My name is Stephanie, and this is my sign name. Today I want to show how to play Concordia. The game is somewhat of an older release, but it's really good. Right now, it's in Board Game Geek's top 100 games. It's number 18 at the time of this video. I really enjoy the game and I love playing it. You can play with 2 to 5 players, and the playtime depends on the number of players, but it would take maybe at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half to play. Players become rulers, sending people and boats all over the map, wanting favor from the gods. And they get that by traveling, trading resources, building houses. When the game ends, the player with the most points wins. This version really has the Venus expansion, so you'll be seeing a little bit of that in this video. The game includes 4 different game boards, providing different experiences, which is really cool. You can play individual play with 2 to 5 players, or team play with 4 to 6 players, so that's up to you. In this video, I'll be showing individual play. Each player puts 1 person and 1 boat in the starting city, which is unique to the game board you're using. Each player gets a storehouse that has 2 people, 2 boats, 2 food, 1 cloth, 1 wine, 1 brick, and 1 tool. Each player also gets 15 houses and 7 different personality cards. Everyone always starts with the same cards. The first player gets 5 sestertii, or money. The second player gets 6, and so on. Mix the city tokens and place them face down on the game board, matching the letters with the areas, in this case A, B, and C. And then flip over all of the tokens so you can see the resources. Next, look at each area of the game board. For example, Cyclades. Cyclades has 3 cities, 1 cloth, 1 wine, and 1 food. The cloth is the most valuable resource of the 3 because it's worth more. See the storehouse value list right here? Cloth is worth 7, wine is worth 6, and food is worth 4. So, put the cloth tile down in the bonus area. The tile should be placed to match up with Cyclades. And you can see that here. Do the same with the other areas. Look and see what resource is the most valuable and place that corresponding bonus tile face up in the bonus area of the board. You need 30 personality cards. There are different types that represent different old gods, which will earn you points at the end of the game. If you're doing individual play, you need cards with the column icon. If you're doing team play, then you need the cards with 2 circles. Separate the cards by their Roman numerals. You need the Roman numerals up to the number of players. For example, if there are 2 players, you need Roman numerals 1 and 2. You don't need 3, 4, and 5. Shuffle the individual piles, and then place the Roman numeral 2 stack under Roman numeral 1, Roman numeral 3 under Roman numeral 2, and so on. Place the completed deck next to the board. 7 of them should be turned face up and placed on the card spaces. The rest can just remain next to the board. It's up to you who goes first. The last player to go gets the Perfectus Magnus card. Which I'll explain later. And now you're ready to play. To start the game, you play one of your cards and do whatever the card says. When you've completed the action, you place the card in your discard pile face up. Then the next player goes and plays one of their cards, and so on. If you play the Tribune card, you get to put all of your discarded cards back into your hand, including the Tribune card. For each card past the third card picked up, you get 1 money. You can also pay 1 food and 1 tool to get a new colonist, a person or a boat. The colonist is placed in the starting city. If you play the Architect card, you can move your colonists, but the number of moves depends on how many colonists you have on the board at that time. You don't include any colonists you have in your storehouse. So, for example, if you have 2 people and 1 boat on the board, you have up to 3 available moves. People can move on the brown lines, and boats can move on the blue lines. You should never actually enter a city. Just stay on the lines. If you want to move over the cities. If it's your first move and you're leaving the starting city, that costs 1 movement to leave, and then you can move from there. At the end of your movement, you can't share a line. But you can move past and just keep going. When your movement has ended, you can choose to build houses in nearby cities, meaning cities that are connected to the line your colonist is on. To build, use the reference card to see the cost. If you want to build in a food city, you have to pay 1 brick, 1 food, and 2 money. If you want to build, but there's already a house built in that city, then you have to pay more money. For example, if you want to build in a food city, but there are already 2 houses there, then you have to pay the 2 money times 3 because your house will be the 3rd house. So 6 money will need to be paid. You still pay 1 brick and 1 food. The resource costs don't increase, only the money. Once you build, you can't build another house in the same city again. You also can't build anything in the starting city. You want to build houses because houses produce resources. These resources right here. If you play the Prefect card, you have 2 options. You can choose which area or province you want to produce goods. For example, if you choose the yellow province, Locris, then you flip over the cloth tile corresponding to Locris in the bonus area of the board, and you would earn 1 cloth. If you happen to have the Perfectus Magnus card, then you would earn 2 cloth. Then you pass the Perfectus Magnus card to the next player. You have to use that card if you have it. You can't decide to wait and use it on a later turn. If any players have houses in Locris, their houses produce resources corresponding to the city. Your other option is to choose to earn money instead. Look at all of the tiles in the bonus area and see how many show money. So you count all of those coins up and collect that amount. So if you see 10 coins, you would get 10 money. Then you flip over all of the tiles back to their resource sides. If you play the Mercator card, you earn money and get to trade up to 2 types of resources. You could sell, or buy, or sell. Use the storehouse value list as a guide. For example, you can sell 2 food and get 8 money, and then pay 6 money to get 2 brick. Your storehouse has limited space. So if you want to buy resources, make sure you have the room available. You can't remove resources to make room for new ones. When you play the Diplomat card, other players have their most recently played card face up in their discard piles, right? Well, the Diplomat card allows you to copy whatever card another player last played, as if you were playing it too. For example, if another player just played Architect, you can play your Diplomat card and do the actions of the Architect card as well. You can't copy the actions of another Diplomat card or a Tribune card. If you play the Colonist card, you have 2 options. One option is to place new colonists on the board. You can put them either in the starting city or in a city in which you have a house built. Each new colonist costs 1 food and 1 tool, and each player is limited to 6 colonists total. Your second option is to earn 5 money and an additional 1 money for each of your colonists on the board, not in your storehouse. If you play one of the special cards, for example, Farmer, you earn 1 food for each food city you have a house in. If you play the Senator card, you can buy up to 2 new personality cards and put them right in your hand. For example, if you want to buy that one, the Architect card, then you have to pay 1 cloth, 1 tool, and 1 resource of your choice from your storehouse. You always have to pay the cost on the card, plus any additional costs below the card. See? And when you buy the cards left get shifted down, becoming cheaper. Then you draw new cards face up to fill in the empty card spaces, so there's 7 available. If you play the Consul card, you can buy 1 personality card, but you don't have to pay the additional cost below the card. And again, once you're finished buying, the cards left get shifted down and a new card is drawn, so there are 7 again. The game is over when one of 2 things happens. When a player buys the last personality card, or when a player builds their 15th house, their last house. In either case, that player gets this card. the Concordia card, which is worth 7 points at the end of the game. Then all other players get one more turn, their last turn. To score, you take all of your personality cards and separate them by type. There are 7 types. You can look at the reference card to figure out what to score first. First, you score Vesta. If there are any resources in your storehouse, you get money equal to their value. For example, if you have 8 money already, but you have 1 cloth, 2 wine, and 1 food, then you would get 23 more money for those resources, bringing you to a total of 31 money. You earn 1 point for each 10 money you have, so that's 3 points. The 1 money left is worth nothing. Next, you score Jupiter. You look at the board and see if you have any houses in non-brick cities. Each house in a non-brick city is worth 1 point. Then you score Saturnus. You get 1 point for each province if you have at least 1 house built in that province. Then you score Venus, part of the expansion. You get 2 points for each province if you have at least 2 houses built in that province. Next is Mercurius. Look at all of the types of cities in which you have houses. You get 2 points for each type of city. For example, if you have houses in 3 food cities, 2 cloth cities, 1 wine city, and 1 tool city, you would get 8 points. Next is Mars. Look at how many colonists you have on the board. Each colonist is worth 2 points. Finally, you score Minerva. These are the special cards, so it depends which ones you have. For example, Farmer gets you 3 points for each of your houses in food cities. So, if you have houses in 3 food cities, that gets you 9 points. Don't forget to score the Concordia card, which is worth 7 points if you have it. The player with the most points wins. If there's a tie, the player with the Perfectus Magnus card wins. Or the player who would get that card next. Well, that's it for explaining Concordia. If you've enjoyed watching, please subscribe and click the bell icon to notify you when I post a new video. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Dibs On Blue Games. The Facebook page has a note listing friendly local game stores. And those are game stores who support this channel. So go check that out. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below and I will gladly respond. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.